Hey guys, it's Waifu Belector back with a really quick video because we are in November, just 1 month away from the Game Awards. That's right, another year of gaming is nearly behind us and the Game Awards are nearly upon us. But before the Game Awards go live with all those good announcements and that sweet validation on December 7th, they're gonna reveal the nominees on Monday, November 13th. And of course they'll be revealing the nominees for all categories, but I'm just gonna focus on the upcoming nominees for Game of the Year. That's what I'm here for. I just figured, hey, why not give my predictions of the nominees before it happens? And it's been a doozy of a year. Good and great games coming from every fucking direction with hardly any room to breathe. So there's a good amount of games that can be chosen, and I imagine that there will be a lot of extremely varying Game of the Year lists for 2023. Some more valid than others. But, you know, when it comes to big time shows like the Game Awards or major publications, it's a bit easier to imagine what they'll choose. As a business aiming to please people, you tend to go with the most pleasing list you can conjure up. So the majority of what will likely be on that list this year is fairly obvious. But I'll give you my predictions anyway, including the one or two that are less obvious. Okay, so first up, Baldur's Gate 3. We know this is gonna be there. A surprise indie hit that came out of the woodwork, blew away all expectations, and gives a AAA level experience despite being indie. This is just the kind of formula that these kinds of corporate entities love to hold up. They always want at least one indie game there if they can get it without looking too ridiculous. Or sometimes even if they do look ridiculous. But luckily for us, this time we're not looking at a Stray situation, and Baldur's Gate 3 is actually great. Another game that is legally required to be nominated is Tears of the Kingdom. Tears of the Kingdom is a great game, so this isn't an awful pick or anything, but let's be honest, even if the game was complete shit, it would still be here. I'm pretty sure Tears of the Kingdom was nominated before it even fucking released. After Tears of the Kingdom though, we do get a little less certain, but still like 90% sure, because it'd be incredibly surprising if Resident Evil 4 Remake didn't receive a nomination. So yeah, I'm just gonna assume that they'll pick this. It's a remake of a 15-year-old game that many still somehow claim to be the best game ever, and the remake very much delivers. That is a recipe for a Game of the Year nomination, and maybe even a shot at the win. After that, for our fourth nomination, still at about a 90% on the duh meter, we'll probably see Spider-Man 2. It's a highly anticipated sequel, 5 years in the making, and we're talking about the most popular superhero in the fucking world here. You bet your bottom dollar he's getting a fucking nomination if his game is even half decent. Just like RE4, I'd be very surprised if this game wasn't nominated. However, after those 4 games, I think we enter more choppy waters. Those 4 are the obvious ones to me. After that, the final 2 have a couple of different directions they can go. But for the sake of this video, I'm gonna take a more concrete stance and give some more nailed down predictions. So I'm gonna go ahead and say I think our 5th Game of the Year nominee will be Final Fantasy 16. Not a game that I think deserves it, not in 2023 anyway, but a game that I think will get the nomination all the same, mostly off the strength of its name alone. And finally, for the 6th and final nomination, I think it'll go to Alan Wake 2. Not an indie, but a B-list game in terms of popularity that seems to have hit all the right notes with fans and critics. I personally wouldn't know, I haven't played Alan Wake 2, but based on what people say about it, based on what I've seen of it, based on the way it presents itself, I'm gonna say it gets the nomination. And so there you have my Game of the Year nominee predictions. Baldur's Gate 3, Tears of the Kingdom, Resi 4, Spider-Man, Final Fantasy, and Alan Wake 2. Like I was saying, I wouldn't be too thrown if it turns out Final Fantasy or Alan Wake or both end up being replaced. They are the shakier 2 of this bunch, but we'll just have to wait and see. I kinda just wanted to get my predictions out so I can either kinda do a bored sigh at how right I was or marvel at how wrong I end up. When the actual nominations come out, I'll also do a video about who I think will actually win Game of the Year, or maybe I can go over a whole bunch of categories. I guess we'll see. I'll also, of course, be doing my own Game of the Year of sorts, because I'll have a top 10 Games of the Year video before the year's up. Anyway, while we wait for the nominees to be announced on November 13th, why don't you go ahead and tell me what you think will get nominated in the comments. That is, of course, if you feel like it. But yeah, thanks for watching. Until next time, I am Waifu Belector. I am just a normal guy. I like hentai, and I'm excited for the Game Awards. Goodbye.